School property over here, and then other properties within this general area that ourselves and the city felt would meet the criteria of Blight Substandard as presented in the Nebraska Community Development Law. Throughout our field work, we took a look at the 4 substandard criteria and the 12 blight criteria that are identified within that community development law, and found that each one, or at least each one of the criteria that was identified or that was researched had at least some form of a reasonable presence or a strong presence of that particular factor, including age and condition of structure, age and condition of public infrastructure, streets, water, sewer, electrical, diversity of ownership, and also conditions of blight, which included deterioration and dilapidation of structures. So throughout the blight study, we made the determination that there are enough of those different factors that Blight and Substandard would qualify for the use of tax increment financing, or TIF as we call it. Holdrege has an extensive history in using tax increment financing for economic, well, not economic development, but like public infrastructure, public utility, and public facility improvements and construction, rehabilitation, and things of that nature. This area is no different from the others that you currently have. I understand there is an area that currently includes your downtown, the Highway 634 corridor, and then some general areas kind of north and south of that as well. So this area meets the same criteria as that one did. We identified existing land use and existing zoning within the redevelopment area, and then after all of our field work, we put together a general redevelopment plan, which highlights various economic development initiatives, public facility improvement initiatives, and also called for the development of the Franklin School property site, which Holdrege Memorial Homes right now is kind of taking a look at some different plans and some different housing developments they want to do for senior populations there. They're kind of in progress with that right now. We did put together a market study for them too, so that process has been done, and they're kind of finding different ways to implement that study. But the general redevelopment plan just makes some basic determinations for how the area can be redeveloped and how it can be a sustainable, viable part of your community. I know the one thing I'll note, the study was completed December of 2016, and it makes some of you thinking, well, maybe that study was done a year and a half ago, but even in the same case, the aging condition factors that I identified still exist there too. So the study is just as viable now as it was back when it was completed.
I do have a question. There's a block between East Street and the main street there and 10th and 11th. And if that block isn't blighted compared to the rest of them you have on there, I don't know what is. I'm wondering why that wasn't included.
I'm thinking that's part of another redevelopment area that already exists.
It does already?
I believe so. I don't have that map on me with me right now, but let me check.
I think East and Lincoln.
Between East and Lincoln?
10th and 11th. If I could...
no, between 11th and 12th. Or,
no, between 10th
and 11th. Yeah, 10th and 11th.
If I could address that, Swan. You're talking about this parcel right there?
Right.
We agree. It is not now included in Area 5, and I don't believe it's included in another development plan. But we think that it should be, and it needs to be. And what we're suggesting is that we come back with an amendment to this plan to add it. There are a couple of reasons why it needs to be added. PCDC has pledged funding to win an LB 518 grant for workforce housing, and the Holdrege Housing Development Corporation is the applicant for that grant. It has delivered about $800,000 to the city of Holdrege for construction of workforce housing, and it is that 10-acre plot to the east of the block that you're talking about, where that project will go. And clearly the houses across the street to the west from that parcel are they're qualifying.
Well,
And
about the most blighted houses.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest.
We will need to bring that back to you fairly quickly because we're moving forward fairly rapidly with plans for development of that 10-acre parcel. So we're working with the Housing Development Corporation now, and we should have all of those things put together by the end of September. And I would imagine that around that time, we'll bring back a request for an amendment to this plan. That wasn't in the works when this original redevelopment area was established, and so it does need to be added.
Okay. And actually,
is there a limit on the size of this that this can be? Is there a limit on the size?
I was going to say, I just took a look at the redevelopment area map that we had in our comprehensive plan, and those blocks that you're talking about are in redevelopment area number 1.
Okay.
So they are actually already eligible for TIF use, and they're not included in this area number 5 because they're already in area number 1.
And they don't go away. You just keep adding.
It's over a course of, it's basically considered blighted for basically forever, but I think it's either 7 years or 10 years that you're allowed to use TIF on a particular project.
So if block 1 was done 7 years ago, then it has to reauthorize with you?
Well, it doesn't have to reauthorize it. I mean, you'd have to reauthorize it, for TIF usage, but it's still within a blight area and would still be eligible.
It's still defined as blighted.
Right.
But you couldn't use TIF funds if it's older than 10 years or something.
You would have to reapply for that as a TIF project if you were to redevelop that particular property again.
Okay, isn't there a limit though on the total area you can have for TIF?
The percentage of the city that can be blighted.
For
I don't want to see
villages,
the city get in trouble, because I think Hastings got in trouble and got sued. I don't want to see our city get in trouble, because we're not doing it.
I'd have to check and see what the official number is, but I can tell you right off the bat, Holdrege is below the 50% limit that a second-class city is allowed.
Or first class.
First class?
Because
Oh, sorry.
over 5,000
Okay.
population.
I got my populations mixed up then, because then it's 30, I believe
35,
35%.
isn't it?
Yeah, for a first-class city. But, we wouldn't be doing the blight area of this particular section of land if you weren't within your limits, which you are as of right now. Even if, with this being approved, you're still within your 35%.
Okay.
So what needs to happen between now and September is that square block needs to be looked at as far as this 7-year or 10-year.
I was mistaken, it's already in.
But it's in, but he's saying before we can use TIF, we have to see if it's older than.
Well, you can use the TIF that already exists for that area. I'll pass the map around so you can
No,
kind of.
I'm not worried about what you're telling me. I'm saying, is there a date that we need to be watching on that block 1 or?
Not really, because it's already in a blight area, and once you establish.
So.
Right,
yeah.
and once you establish a project, you can collect X amount of TIF off of that. Because you can take TIF projects from something along the highway corridor and apply it to that particular lot because you're within the same redevelopment area. You can't move TIF dollars from area number 1 to area number 5, but you can move it within area number 1. So whatever TIF has already been collected, it can technically go towards public infrastructure or public utility installation or rehabilitation in that area that Ron wants to develop.
Okay. So we'll be getting, we won't get any changes, but this is 5 and that's where it's going to stay.
Right.
Okay.
I can tell you that we're in discussions with the developer for 2 of the parcels that fall within this area for additional housing beyond the parcel that we were just discussing. So we're hopeful that this time next year we're going to have projects that will be coming before City Council and the CRA for assistance.
Does the city have a overall map showing all the TIF areas? It would be nice to have that available.
It's in the comp plan. We have one
It's
made up
here?
for you. If you want to see that, I can pass that down to you.
Does that show all the TIF, or does it just show the blighted?
It just shows the blight area, not the actual TIF project.
The TIF projects are all just on a list, I believe, aren't they?
Yeah, the Department of Revenue keeps a record of the TIF projects within different redevelopment areas. Ron has a list too. Okay.
Any other questions, comments, or anything?
I've got
Good on my end.
questions.
Yes.
On your map on page 214 and 52, there's several parcels of land that are in the mapped area but aren't on the list. Parcel number 0000930.00. On the map I looked, it says null with no owner listed, but it's still a separate property. And then there's 931 and 2082, 1580.10, 1566, 1567, and 1881 are in the area, but they're not on the list. And then there's two parcels that are listed twice on the list, 1580 and 2080.
And those might be parcels that had multiple owners too. I'll have to double check on that.
And what is the meaning of diversity of ownership?
It's just the number of persons that own property within the redevelopment area.
And how is that considered good or bad? I don't understand what
In the eyes of community development law, it's kind of considered bad because if you have, say, a large-scale project that wants to develop, there's multiple owners that you have to get in contact with to be able to give over the property for that development to happen. So usually, the lower the number of owners you have in a redevelopment area, the better off it is. But that's, in the eyes of the community redevelopment law, they're thinking more owners means, more red tape to go through to have a project developed.
Okay. On page 58, the future zoning map, the legend shows mobile home park district, and there are currently mobile homes in the area, in a small portion of the redevelopment area, but there is no area of that map that's shown as mobile home park.
Okay, there's probably an area then that was added at one time and then might have been taken out, but the legend was never changed.
Okay.
So that was something we'll fix.
I was just curious, whether this means that in the future we're...
There's a small section, the lower right-hand corner is mobile homes
Yes.
on that map.
Page 58, isn't it?
Yeah, 57.
Well, yeah, but on 58, where in the legend it shows mobile home park district, but in that little corner of the area, it isn't listed as a separate, marked off as a separate
It's
area.
actually an R2. It's zoned R2 apparently, and there's mobile homes in there.
Yeah.
Probably grandfathered in, I guess.
But anyway, I was hoping that in the future we were not trying to encourage mobile homes as permanent housing, because I kind of like to discourage it as permanent housing.
Well, they're not allowed, like I said, I don't know how they got in there, but they're not allowed in R1 or R2 districts. Mobile homes are not. It's, in our code states that R1, R2, they've got to be on a permanent foundation and hooked up to city water and sewer, so they're not allowed in those districts.
Okay, and then on page 61 and 62, the private foundations are all listed twice.
Yeah, that was just a copy and paste that didn't get deleted, so we'll take care of that.
So, and the reason I bring this up is because on the last sentence on page 10, it says this study is part of public record, and I just didn't want the city to be in some kind of trouble if these properties weren't all listed here, and, avoid some liability down the road, maybe.
Yeah, I'll have to double check that list again. There must have been some that were kind of missed. Can you read off the list of those parcels again?
Well, I think just
Or if you have
give
the
you a
list.
copy of all my questions here.
That's fine.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I would close the public hearing. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt the Planning Commission Resolution 2018-01, recommending the City of Holdrege Blight and Substandard Determination Study and General Development Plan for the Development Area 5.
And so moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
A second. Any questions, comments?
I think we need to make, yeah,
Yeah, as long as we can make these corrections.
yeah.
Okay.
With the correct, yes,
Yeah, and the corrections, yeah, and we can get those done tomorrow.
And I think the motion needs to be then amended then to address this.
Yeah, stipulate the corrections being made
To adopt the plan
with the corrections.
with the corrections. Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll go ahead and vote. Scott?
I vote for it.
Young?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Darrell?
Yes.
Yes. Twain?
Yes.
Yes. You're adopted.
Cool. We can get those changed tomorrow and sent out to you right away.
Okay. Okay, next thing on the agenda is a public hearing to receive comment on the Hannah Keelan Holdrege 2028 Comprehensive Plan.
That would be me again.
Okay.
I'll have to go through the whole spiel of who I am and what we do, but you understand, I've been here a couple of times to talk to you about the comprehensive plan. We've had the good fortune of being retained to provide an update to the existing plan, which was done in 2007. We've had this plan presented to you before and have had the changes as expressed by you folks. Those changes have been made, and the latest and greatest of the comprehensive plan was emailed to Dane, and Dane, you emailed it out to everybody else, so they all have a copy of it? Okay. So yeah, everybody has knowledge of at least what we changed, and were there any other questions or comments in regards to the comp plan?
So there has been some of the changes that with the corrections to the names of streets and whatnot, we talked about before. I haven't seen any new version of that.
It's the only thing we got in the packet.
Oh, okay. You want to go down and print some off, or you just want to run through it? It's the one that's loaded on the screen. So.
Okay, yeah, whatever you have loaded up here. Or are we wanting to go through each of the corrections, or how do you want to proceed with this?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Scroll down quite a ways here. I don't have the sheet in front of me of what all those corrections were, but I know there were some, at least in the scheduled and action steps. Thank you. Page 1.2. Yeah, what we did with this is, we just changed everything to say, the 19 miles south of the Interstate 80 corridor. We made that change on page 1.2.
Did you get the list of the members of the planning commission and the council, all that?
Oh, yeah, that
That
was changed. There was some overlap that wound up happening in that document. Let me go up here real quick. Eventually we get there. We made all the changes to the planning commission members. City council has been changed up there too. Does that look right to everybody? Aren't any names we're missing, hopefully? Okay. Page 1.3. Page 1.3, and the Holdrege concentrated between east and west streets that should be located on East and West Avenue.
Paragraphs above that.
Gotcha. The East and West Avenues, that was changed up there. And 2.22. Far.
1.7.
Oh yeah, that was changed to, let's see. You mentioned reference of Sacramento Creek. And that was this one right here, Sacramento Creek. That one's been changed. 2.22 now. Where we talked about a strip mall. Not sure where that one was at. 2.22.
It's right at the top of the page.
There it is.
Okay, yep, so strip mall, that's been changed. 4.19. Allman Brothers and Beckman Dickinson.
Next to the last paragraph.
Yeah. And then we just took that out where it talked about what road they were located on, and yeah, because it was this paragraph. We basically just struck out the whole thing of what street they were on, just so the Centennial Road thing was not in there. 5.3. Middle school facility is located on 14th Avenue, the elementary school is on West 18th Avenue. So when we talk about the elementary school, we changed that here to West 18th Avenue. 5.3. Holdrege Middle School and Holdrege High School. And
That's the correct address for the Holdrege Middle School. Elementary school, though. It's 1600 Broadway Street.
That's right.
For Holdrege Elementary School?
Yeah, it's 1600 Broadway Street. 'Cause the main entrance is off of Broadway.
531 West 18th would be the same place, though, it'd be, except it wouldn't show where the entrance is. You'd have to drive through the fence.
Yeah, or over the grass.
Down the hill, around the corner.
So do we want that changed then? or do we
Yeah,
want-
change it.
1600.
1600 Broadway Street.
We did the second 5.3, let's go to 5.7. Upstate Fairgrounds. Instead of Second Avenue, it should say Second Street. I missed the Fairgrounds one. Look at that.
Keep going down.
Yeah, right here. I'm looking at southeast corner of Second Street. Should be Second Street. Okay, so that one says Second Street there. 5.9. Former Franklin Elementary School site, 1 block west. We identified 1 block west of the Holdrege Memorial Homes facility. That paragraph right there. 5.10. 813 Fifth Street should be 813 Fifth Avenue, so that one right there. And then 6.1, talk about Highway 183. Instead of saying state highway, it should say US highway. US Highway 634 and 183. Just by Highway 183 after that. I think that was where that one was at, but
So the only change would be the address of the middle school,
Elementary school.
elementary, excuse me. And do we have this is all the zoning and regulations are in this?
That is next.
Okay.
Actually. So,
Any other questions or comments? I would close the public hearing. Next item on the agenda is approve the zoning and subdivision regulations with regard to the 2018-2028 City of Holdrege Comprehensive Plan. That's these?
There's a resolution for the comprehensive plan, 2018-02.
2018-01,
02
02,
comprehensive plan.
there's 02. Okay.
You got to
need to-
change the wording in the resolution as well.
Okay. So we need to approve this?
Yes.
Is
Well, you
everybody-
gotta approve the number 7 first, though, Dave?
Yes, that's what we're talking about, the resolution first.
We need to
Well, the
approve.
resolution is number 8.
Yeah, that's 8. Number 7 is the actual approving the zoning and subdivision regulations.
Help me out.
Well, is that where we talked about the solar power? and
Now, that's what I'm saying, that's, these are?
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. My head
Okay.
is wrong.
This is just deals with the wind power.
right, they're basically the same regulations that Phelps County zoning has. It keeps you consistent with the county.
In essence, we're approving everything as is and adding the wind power
Right, and then there's the solar power regulations
and solar
that are
power,
on there too.
the wind and solar.
Right.
Well, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I will make that motion.
Is there a second? Second by Black. Any questions, comments? If not, we'll go ahead and vote. We'll go ahead. Glenn?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Yes.
Black? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And approved. Next item on the agenda is the adopting the Planning Commission Resolution 2018-2 approving and recommending the 2018-2028 City of Holdrege Comprehensive Plan to the Mayor and City Council. Does everybody have a copy of that resolution? Anybody see any corrections or anything we need to change? I would recommend a motion that we approve the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. And that's everything on the agenda.
You need a motion to table the,
Oh, yeah, we need to, okay, the guy never showed up. We're gonna just, let's just table it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
I'm
much.
gonna entertain a motion to table the application to rezone lots 7 and 9, block 29, Holdrege second edition from R3 to the commercial C3.
I make that motion.
Is there a second?
I would second that.
All those in favor by signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is tabled to our next meeting. You might mention that his.
Who seconded that?
Show up.
Yeah, I think it would be
Scott.
good to put that as a reason why it was tabled, is to allow him an opportunity to show and discuss it.
If you don't show up,
No,
it
sir,
gets
it's not.
tabled.
It
Right,
would be
Don?
better
What's that?
If they don't show up, it gets tabled.
That's right. That's just a standing, that's the way it's been done for 10 years.
I checked on it.
Well,
Longer than that.
20 years.
Figure if they're not interested enough to show up, then we'll table it until.
That's
they do.
right.
If, what is plenty, this 2018-01.
That was,
That was your blighted.
That was the
That's the blighted one, okay.
With correction.
Well, that was the blighted. Okay, all one, got that taken care of.
You guys would like to sign a copy.
Oh, we don't sign anything to say. Do we, Brad?
if Gary
If there's nothing else on the agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, say aye. Motion carries, we are adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Nope.
Corey wasn't here, and
Yes, that is Mark.
Mark was here. We need to sign.
I do.
Yeah.
I thought I did sit, but I.
Well, I don't have to sign anything either.
I'm signing, you're signing.
But we're adjourned.
As secretary,
We're paying these people to do this stuff.
I'm always on duty, right?
That's why we hired them.
See, I read through it, but I guess I'm just reading it.